Welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games, where we feed our people with relatable content, and our victory condition is your satisfaction. I'm Harry.
And I'm Lily.
And today we have another episode of Lily's Top Board Games of the Month. But before we go any further, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on that bell notification. That way when we're doing our thing, YouTube lets you know. So Lily, let's get straight to it with some of the new games that you learned this past month.
Woo! We've been
busy.
We've been excavating the Caves of Caverna. Oh, this is the wrong way. The Caves of Caverna. Yes, that is right. We have become farmers, and we have also decided to become mining, or don't do mining, but we're at it. Anyway.
And we've become dwarfs.
And we've shrunk in the process, and we're now dwarfs. But we're cute. And we do not lack food, so therefore we may be chubby, on the chubby end. In any case, Caverna, do not be discouraged by the size of Caverna. I was pretty intimidated at first. There's a lot of moving pieces to it, but it's surprisingly kind of like a child of Agricola. Mm-hmm. So if you already are into Agricola, which at this point in the game you must know that it is one of my top something. It will be happening later on. Anyway, I love Agricola, and this is definitely like a nice continuation of it. So you're doing the same things that Agricola is doing. In addition to it, you have ruby mines, you have ore mines, and you get to go on expeditions. So it's a really cool game with lots of different twists. Essentially, I change my strategy every time I play it, and I've won a couple times, haven't I?
We played the game 3 times so far. You won the first two times, but I did win the third time in convincing fashion.
Yeah. Well, you gotta throw a dog a bone. Either way.
There are dogs in this game.
There are.
Maybe that's what you're referring to.
And every animal is 1 point. So it's much easier to come up with. There are some cows that you can never come across unless you trade a ruby for.
Yes, sure.
I didn't learn that until later on. But it's a very neat game. It has the planting, so if you're into planting, which I am, it still has the whole vegetable and what is it called? Vegetable, what is that other thing?
The grain.
The grain.
Yeah, no, this game is very much, absolutely, I mean, Uwe Rosenberg, same designer as Agricola, and this is clearly a deviation from Agricola, lots of similarities. Like you mentioned, you have the agricultural aspect, the planting, and right? And you kind of build them as you go. It's a really cool game, a neat alternative to Agricola.
It really is, and it's really not that hard to learn. I'm not sure why the box is so intimidating.
It's a thick box. There's a lot of pieces.
It's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
But even so, it's not like Robinson Crusoe, where it's like 10 hands moving every turn. No. Like the pieces are coming, you just have to replenish like the wood and stuff like that, as you would in Agricola fashion. But I really, really loved it. This is definitely going to be a permanent fixture of our household for, dare I say, years to come.
Sounds good. Caverna. All right.
Caverna.
So what's the next game we introduced you to this month?
I have a love-hate relationship with this game. More towards the hate side. Azul stained glass. Harry here reeled me into this game saying that it was Azul-like. Obviously the name says it is Zen game. I am so stressed in this game. I still don't get this game. What's happening in this game? How am I not able to win? Is all I want to know. I just realized as we played it for like the 4th time, one piece that was missing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's probably why he's getting so ahead. So the whole time I'm thinking that I'm winning, and then I look at the scoreboard and he's like 20 points away. What's happening here? Anyway, other than that, it is a very nice tactile game. You get to place nice little square little pieces on nice little strips and score accordingly. But it's not a Zen game for me. I am therefore very much stressed in this game.
Azul, the original, is a beautiful game. It's definitely much lighter. This is definitely a next step from Azul. Azul is your standard, typical gateway type game if you want to introduce people to modern abstract strategy games that look pretty. This continues in that spirit of pretty, beautiful looking, borrows the tile drafting mechanism, but as far as placement and scoring is concerned, it adds a few wrinkles that definitely makes it a little bit deeper and more thoughtful and strategic. I like it. I wouldn't say that Azul, I guess you could say, is somewhat Zen-like, because even though it is very abstract strategy and spatial orientation, the decisions are a little bit lighter, so it might feel like you could be in a Zen place. With this, you're definitely more immersed, or you should be, if you want to be competitive. You should be, but it's a fun game. I like it. This is definitely my preference.
Of course he's
out
like
of the
that.
two.
He's won at it 4 times.
And I will say this, and tell me if you agree. I do think that this is more aesthetically pleasing than the first one.
It is aesthetically pleasing.
More than the original, or what would you say?
I mean, it has the yellow colors, guys. Remember the yellow mustardy colors? I'm not really a fan, but it is Azul, therefore it has to have something blue, because that's just the name of it.
Sure.
I like the other version better, but these are see-through tiles versus solid-looking ones. So there you have it. I did tell him to get Summer Pavilion, which has been highly ranked.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Instead, what did we get? Stained glass.
Which is also highly ranked. Azul, stained
Well,
glass of
okay.
Sintra. Don't listen to the haters. All right, what's next? What's next?
I'm just still shaving it off.
Oh,
all right. A really cool game, which I really truly love. Takinoko.
All right, Takinoko. Yes,
Woo-hoo.
yes.
One of these days, we may visit Japan.
Talking about Zen-like, aesthetically
Very nice.
pleasing games.
Everything about this game is amazing. Like, everything about it. It has even like a little comic book caricature thing that you get to read before. It's very cute. You know, it has a little panda and a little farmer who's like so stressed out because the panda's eating all the bamboo trees. You have different drafting cards, so different ways of winning. Is that what you call the point salad way?
No,
I
mean,
like 3 different ways of
I guess there is
scoring.
a little bit of point salad-y, but there's only like 3 different ways of scoring. But I do like the objective cards because they're kind of like hidden. They're like secret missions, so to speak, and your opponents don't know what they are. So
you do the tiles are similar to Catan. They're hexagonal shaped tiles, and you place them like so, and then you have to make you cannot place a tile unless there's like a water source close to it. You cannot grow bamboo unless the water connects. So a lot of it, like the roads of Catan in a way, are like the water sources and stuff like that. And essentially, you're trying to create objectives. Like your objectives are like, you gotta have certain amount of shape with the tiles of certain colors, or sometimes it's like you gotta have this amount of tiles with this amount of bamboo little levels on it, or you gotta eat this amount of bamboos and have them in your little stash for the panda. So it's a really cool game. I mean, what about it is not cool? I was like, let's play this any day.
Yeah,
literally. Any day.
Another great gateway option. Like, it's so easy to
Look
learn.
at how cute that panda is.
It's so easy to learn, but the presentation is so appealing. So for a new gamer who perhaps is used to the concept of maybe board games looking bland and boring, this definitely could catch their eye.
I mean, I may definitely learn a little Japanese here while we're at it. We'll see. We shall see.
We'll see. Takinoko! All right, so
best one yet.
What else have we played recently?
Another one that I'm not 100% of a fan. Castles of Burgundy, the doodle version.
The dice game.
I'm sorry, the doodle version.
The doodle version.
Harry did make a very interesting comparison as we were playing it the last time. Just a little while ago. Essentially, it's like if I'm copying on a test. So like I'm doing my thing and I'm like looking at his. Do you do the same? Okay.
No. But that's not the way the game should be played. That's the way Lily's been playing because I dominated her the first couple times we played. So she thought she would copy me. And it went very well for her, actually.
It did. I won for the first time, guys. For the first time, 57 to Harry's 54. That's right.
I'm tired.
So essentially, you are writing the number that the dice give you, and there are some rules to it. So each color,
I hope so.
It's like, why make it more complicated than that, right? No, each color has like different rules. Like sometimes some of the colors cannot have the same type of number inside. Sometimes the colors have to have the same number. Sometimes the colors numbers have to match the numbers of other adjacent tiles, whatever. At the end of the day is whenever you're like you finish a little region, you score here in the bottom
based on the size,
based on the size,
based on the time within the game that you completed it.
That's
the phase.
right. The phase, as things phase out, they're not worth as much as the first phase. And they also have like the different powers, so it brings some of the burgundy castles of burgundy components.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the worker component that helps you modify your die by 1 or 2 rolls. The
silver,
the goods that you're selling. You can only sell certain goods if your dice has 2 little hourglasses. I gotta give it this. For how much I disliked it, it was very quick.
Yes,
so
definitely.
It goes by like this, right?
Under 20 minutes.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
like
15.
12. Especially
at
if
2 players.
Yeah, especially if you keep on rolling two little dice markers, because that's what makes it go faster. Yeah, there's a time track.
Yeah.
But that just means that you have to be way more productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally, out of all the iterations of Castles of Burgundy, which I hope at this point they're done, right, Harry? Is there anything else?
Great game, a great franchise.
Is there anything else in the pipeline that has Castles of Burgundy in it? Because I think Harry here might own it.
My first little Burgundy.
No!
I'll get that for my son. I personally like it. I think it's
okay.
I'm a huge fan of COB, Castles of Burgundy, so that's a disclaimer. But I think they've done such a great job of condensing it into a short, super duper filler dice rolling game, roll and write game. Because if you really pay attention, they take all the big concepts of Castles of Burgundy and translate them into smaller concepts that are still true to the original, I find. Like the way the goods work, the way the silver work, even the way the animals work. On surface level, you don't realize that it's the same way, but in Castles of Burgundy, you're benefited if you use the same type of animals. Mm-hmm. So they encourage you to use the same type of numbers. Oh. I think it's really, really neat.
No, you could tell there's a lot of hours of thought behind it, and whoever made up the little puzzle piece definitely was very gifted and artistically talented. So for the quickness of it, for how quick it is, I have to say I'm liking first the card version, and then probably this version, and then the actual Castles of Burgundy version would be my last.
We'll agree to disagree. All right, so that is Castles of Burgundy, the dice game. So now let's move on to the next box here.
Another one that's kept us busy in the last month. It is an expansion of our favorite game, Tokaido. No, it's not your favorite. My favorite game, Tokaido.
Tokaido's your favorite game.
One of my favorite Japanese style games, Tokaido. Another gateway game that will be a great addition for any household, anywhere, throughout the world.
Another Japanese theme. It's actually the same designer as Takinoko.
Same designer. You can just see how cute everything is. Same font, as you can see. This adds an interesting component. A component that I may have broken the game with it, because you can collect certain points or certain, cards?
Yeah, there's
like that are secret
the
cards?
expansion adds crossroad cards, and there's a bunch of different categories to give you more options for when you go to the different spots.
I broke the game.
And Lily drew one card. It's like
a combination of 2 different things that will piggyback of each other that will give me it will make it impossible.
It made her score lots of points for all her coins at the end of the game, and she had a lot of them. And that's fine. You just kind of have to know that after you play the game and kind of defend against it. It wasn't the same the second time we played. The second time we played, I tried to do the same thing, and I believe I lost.
Yeah, he couldn't.
So
I won every time.
It's not that black and white. But I think it's cool because for me, element of gameplay that I appreciate is choice and having options. And basic Tokaido, it's fun. It's definitely Zen-like. It looks nice on the table. It's a great gateway game, but it's super duper light and has very little decisions. There's some decisions when you choose where to go along the path. sometimes your choices are taken away from you, but this means every chance you're going to get a choice.
It gives you back. So essentially under the board of regular Tokaido, you would add yet another little thing with some choices. So you could choose to go where the board goes, or you could choose, you could choose what the board gives you already, or you could choose when you go to those spots to pick from here as well. So some of these are like additional cards, secret things, one-time actions, stuff like that. So it's really cool. I really like the enhanced version, and I believe I've won every time.
We played twice. She won twice.
Every time. Twice is every time. That counts.
Yes. No, it's been fun. It's been fun playing.
Harry here got discouraged, and he didn't want to play again because, come on.
Never. I never get discouraged. All right, so now we're going to talk about upcoming games that we're going to start learning the next couple weeks, and Lily's going to learn them with me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the game, give a brief description based on my limited knowledge on these games. And then after we've talked about all of them, Lily's going to tell us which one or two games catches her eye the most. So the first game I'd like to talk about is Nova Luna, designed by Uwe Rosenberg and Corné van Moorsel. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So this is a co-design by Uwe Rosenberg. We don't really generally play lots of co-designs of his. Usually we just play games that he worked on by himself. But this is an abstract strategy game, and I think there's some elements of patchwork, mechanically speaking, involved. Obviously, this is a totally different game thematically speaking, but it says that you're building connections. And it's a very aesthetically pleasing game. I think so. It's nice looking. I see it on the Instagram feed all the time. And again, Uwe Rosenberg, who quite often has been successful for us. And another game is Mexica, designed by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. And this is their third game in their, what was once referred to as the Mask trilogy, because all of the box covers back then had masks on them. But this is a reprint by Yellow, and it's very nice looking and beautiful three-dimensional pieces. And Lily and I have already been playing lots of Tikal, lots of Cusco. The first two games in the trilogy, Cusco was a reprint of Java, and we've been enjoying it a lot. We enjoy the area majority that takes place, and the action point allowance system where you have a certain amount of action points and you have to budget them. And this game carries on all of that, and again with the Central American indigenous theme to it. So Mexico. Another game, now we go into a much smaller, lighter box, is Port Royal. And this game is actually not new to me. I've been playing Port Royal for a couple years now, and I really like this game. It's a great pirate-themed push your luck game, but unlike lots of typical push your luck games that are just luck-based, there's so much strategy in this. This is definitely a great Euro push your luck game where you're trying to get a combination of different characters to score you victory points, but they combine differently with one another, and you have certain missions that reward you points and money if you get a certain specific characters in your table. But what's cool is that, again, you have that press your luck where every turn you're making the decision, do I want to keep on drawing cards? Because if I keep on drawing, I might get more good stuff, but I can also bust and lose my turn altogether. So really cool, Port Royal. Then we have Mundus Novus, which is designed by Bruno Cathala and Serge Leger. And Serge Leger is the only other game that I could think of that he's co-designed with Bruno Cathala is Shadows over Camelot. But Bruno Cathala has designed lots of games that we enjoy, like Five Tribes, King Domino, Jamaica, Dice Town, all these great games. And here, this is a small card game with some interesting trading mechanisms and a discovery of the new world type of theme to it. So really cool, Mundus Novus. And then the fifth and final game that we'll be learning in the upcoming weeks is Ilium. And this is a game that nobody ever really talks about. This is designed by Rainer Knizia, published by Playroom Entertainment. But this is really interesting. It says Troy 1870. The famous archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann has discovered Ilium And now artifact collectors have rushed to send archaeologists to excavate the area, go from one dig site to the next, and try to retrieve the best collection of artifacts. Careful planning and timing are necessary as the deep layers of a site are uncovered. The more valuable the antiquities, Don't wait too long, though, or you may end up with nothing. Archaeology themed board game. And those are the 5 games. So Lily, I want you to tell me which two out of these catch your attention the most.
What is it that you do? You drop the mic?
Yeah. Drop the mic.
Wow. Previous to recording this video, I was here like, don't I have a choice on which games I get to learn? Babe, I think you're like right on point.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what I'm more excited about. Ilium has never been heard of by anybody, including myself. But I too want to go and excavate and find out what the heck is happening over there. So anyway, one of my dreams as a kid was to become an archaeologist and be Indiana Jones. Didn't happen. I came into the medical field. Another story for another day. But I'm excited about going and finding out what the fuss is all about in Troy of 1870.
Yeah, sounds cool.
That sounds cool. And it kind of like, it looks a little bit, what is that? That Palazzo. It has the similar look of Palazzo.
I mean, it's definitely not
but it probably
a pretty looking cover. I would say it looks actually more interesting than Palazzo.
Yeah.
I like the art at least. The color's a little bit but the art here on the box cover is really cool.
Was it Reiner
Knizia.
Oh,
Reiner Knizia has been hit in our home over the years, and the fact that nobody talks about this game doesn't intimidate me.
The best kept secret out there.
And
is
again,
that a print?
the archaeologist, it is in print, I believe. I bought this a while ago. I don't know if it's still in print. It might be. But the thing is, this, I'm not as big of an archaeologist fan as you, but it's still unique. Not an overdone theme in board games, so I think that's cool.
That is amazing.
Pick one more out of these next 4. I know
it's
tough. I
was actually gonna pick Mundus Novus, but no. If I only can I pick a third?
Sure.
Mundus Novus. I mean, it just looks like a great new world, which I'm sure that's what Mundus Novus really means in Latin, right? So, I'm all about Columbus type theme games. I'm all excited. This guy, Bruno Cathala, everything he makes, I really like. So he's a great designer. I mean, how bad could it be, right? It just looks really interesting.
It is one of his lesser known, lesser talked about games, and I believe it's out of print. But again, that's never been something to intimidate or discourage me from trying again.
I'm excited. These are the games that are going to get me through my workday. Wow, Mexica. I'm really super pumped about this game. It sounds like they brought this is the last one, right?
Yes, this is the 3rd in the trilogy.
So it sounds like they brought all the great things of all the other games and consolidated it into one. And I'm not sure I like the other front covers a little bit better. I'm not sure what the lady here is supposed to represent, but whatever. It looks pretty neat.
It does look neat. It's definitely a different looking board. It has a lot of water in it, so I wonder if that's like unexplorable terrain or land, but
it doesn't have the levels though. I'm used to being hexagonal or like the shape, right? Wasn't the other thing like hexagonal?
It looks like it does have levels. You just don't build them up. It looks like there's different buildings of different sizes.
Yeah.
Right? But they're like monolithic. You just grab one piece and put it down, I guess. So, I don't know.
I'm intrigued. The other 2 games in the trilogy have been a hit. So, I'm very much intrigued about how this one is going to play out. Might be a little bit of a time commitment I see there in the 1.5 to 2 hour range, but it's okay.
Yeah, an hour to an hour and a half. I'm sure that at 2 players, it'll probably be closer to 1 hour than an hour and a half.
Port Royal. There was something about pirate type theme games. There was another pirate theme game that was also Push Your Luck. What is it called? the one that you play in a group setting, and it has like different colors slash maybe sea creatures. I don't know. And you're
Are
all
you
like
talking about? Are you talking about Dead Man's Draw? We never
Dead
played that with a
Man's
big
Draw.
group.
Dead Man's Draw. We did like 3 or 4.
No, I think we played Dead Man's Draw all
wasn't-
by ourselves.
No, Dead Man's Draw is the one with the little caravela on the side, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure. You all got that.
Anyway.
So yeah, I don't know
I
what other
default to
game.
Spanish when I don't know the answer.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
Anyway, there's a very similar type push or draw game, so this reminded me of that. But we haven't. It has not been.
There's Ink and Gold, but that's not Pirate thing. We're getting carried out. All right. So what do you think about Port Royal?
I put them all in the same category. I'm not into pirates. But hey.
Oh, so you're explaining why you're not into this game.
Yeah.
We all needed to know that. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. And let's tell us while you're at it, just tell us why you're not into Nova Luna.
No, I mean Nova Luna. It looks to me like it does not require a rule book because literally it says it right there what you need to do. It has 4 steps to it, and so long as you follow it, you choose your title, you move your token, you place your tile, and you complete your goals. Heck, if life was that easy, I would sign up for more games like this. So for the simplicity of it all, that whole dial of the full moon really seems to be oversimplified with the instructions in the back. So I'm okay taking a chance, and I like the colors.
Okay, cool. Well, that's it for the games that we're going to be learning in the next couple of weeks, and that's it for this episode of Lily's Board Games of the Month. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and also comment down below and tell us what you think about these games. And check in the description down below for a link to our Patreon account.
Ooh, yes,
so you can be more involved with this channel, support us if you like it, research and find a tier that works for you. This is Harry
and Lily
saying take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun gaming.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Amateurs.